Welcome to the Anthony Lee Crypto Channel. Taking a look at the Bitcoin price action on this weekend. I don't usually trade the weekends. The weekends are for suckers like you and I, and I've learned that game a long time ago. I wait to see which direction the market is going to take us headed into the following week, and I'm going to show you why that's a smart play. This is years of lessons learned. I'm looking at Bitcoin on a 30-minute chart. We've got the current range. We're not going to talk about that too much right now. We will come back and I will tell you exactly which direction I think this is headed. Sunday going into Monday, which is where we will be looking to take our trade. So let's go back on the 30-minute chart. I've highlighted the last several weekends, few months worth of weekends, and let's see if we can find a trend here of what's going on. Now, weekend range here generally, especially lately, the market maker, yes, there's a market maker, and I'm going to show you how you can see him play here. The market maker likes to fake out Sunday going into Monday and then reverse either Monday no later than Tuesday and take the market the direction that he really wants to go. Let's look at last weekend. So this is our weekend range right here. Late Sunday, early, depending on where you are. Sunday, the market maker took the price up out of the range. Everybody went long only into Monday night, reversing and going the way they actually wanted to go. Now, this was a big drop from top to bottom. This is almost a 13% drop on Bitcoin, but you got the big fake out of the weekend, okay? Let's look back the weekend before that. Same exact thing. You've got the sideways range here, sideways. Sunday, take the price out of here. Take the previous U.S. high that was unclaimed from Friday, and then take the market the direction you really want to go. So a fake out Sunday. All right, looking at here, got the weekend range, same thing here. Sunday, you bust it out to the top, looked like a great move. Everybody got excited, everybody got long. Only for Tuesday them to reverse it and come down the direction they actually wanted to go. And I'm going to show you how you can tell if it's a fake out or not. Same thing here, previous weekend, we're all the way back to Friday, October 17th. Chopping along during the weekend, not much price action. Fake out on Sunday. Boom, blast. Everybody gets short. Everybody gets excited. We're going down. They short. Boom. Blast you up to the upside, liquidated, and take you where they want to go. Another fake out. Same thing here. Previous weekend, chopping along sideways, a little bigger range here, but Sunday, fake out to the top side. Take out the previous U.S. high that was unclaimed. That's a key. Pay attention there. And then reverse down on Monday and take you the direction they really want to go the rest of the week. We do have a couple failures in here I'm about to get to, and I'm going to show you why those are failures. Same thing here. Chop it along. Fake move to the upside. Take out previous Friday U.S. high that was never taken out. By Tuesday, reverse course and take you to the downside. Big drop here. This drop was all the way. This was the biggie. This was the biggie all the way from 120 plus thousand down to 101. Okay, here's a failure. Just before that weekend. So we're all the way back. The last failure was September 27th ish. So almost 2 months ago before one of these fails. Chopped along. Took off on Sunday and did not come back, not for a couple of weeks anyway. And the one before that was also a failure. Chopped along sideways, took off to the downside and did not come back. Prior to that, these were all winners. So you can go back and check it. I've done it. Trust me, these are only two failures I could find in the last few months. Let's look at why these are failures. And then we can predict the direction of the market off of this weekend. So I zoomed out to the 4-hour chart. Let's look here. We're looking for what's called vector candles. And I'll have to show you the vector candle indicator. It's my girl Annie has a trade travel chill indicator. I think it's the SVR. I'll look it up in just a second. Let me see if I got it right here. I'll find it for you in a second. Anyway, ignore that. Let's continue with the analysis. So looking at the two failures here. So we're on the 4-hour chart. You see these bright green and blue and then bright purple and bright red candles? Those are the ones that matter. These gray and white candles do not matter. That is people like us, for the most part, moving the market, which is futile compared to these other big movers. So when you see these bright candles, these are vector candles. That's the market maker stepping in to move price, and he does not move price unless he wants you to act in a certain way. He manipulates you and I. So when he steps in here, and vector candles get recovered. So what he's going to do here when he's got this candle here, for example, we're on the 4-hour, that's a vector candle. That's him moving the candle. He's building liquidity. He's inducing you with a fast, strong candle to go long. You think it's blasting out of here, you go long. He has every intention of coming back and recovering this candle right here. Every intention, because he's building up a lot of liquidity. Same here, same here. And why was this a failure? Looking back across the previous 4 hours, for the last couple weeks, even this vector here was recovered. See the wick recovered this candle, so it's not valid. You were looking back here weeks, and there is no relevant vector candles that have not been recovered to the downside. So let's look to the upside. Looking immediately to the left, you see this big vector candle that was never recovered. You see these vectors never recovered. These never recovered. Yeah, all of these were never recovered. So you knew he was coming back for this. He had to come back for this. So when he left this, he was coming to get his liquidity out of these vector candles all the way up here even. There are none to the downside. So there is no reason for him to fake this one out, come up a little bit, induce you to go long and then go short. There's no reason because there's nothing down here to recover. He had not set his trap previously down here. He set a trap. It was down in this area. See these vectors, 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 but he had already come and gotten that liquidity with his move to the downside. So there were no more vectors, relevant vectors down here that he needed to come recover. So all the vectors were to the upside in this case. So this would have told you in advance that when the market moves that direction, that is the direction that he intends to take it. So we could have spotted this one ahead of time. Let's look at the previous weekend. We're still in the 4-hour, okay? Coming in here, how did you know that this one was going to be a failure? To see this vector here, you'd be saying, but Anthony, we didn't get this vector. Well, we did, because to recover a vector, you really only need to get about 50% of it. And you can see we got a little over 50% of that vector recovered with this wick right here. So there was no reason at all for them to come back up here, because looking at the previous weeks, there's no vectors higher, nothing. I mean, you have to go way back here to get them in. You're going to be looking at daily vectors and things like that for those long-term price moves. But on the 4-hour, there was no reason for him to go that high to get that. However, to the downside, vectors, all these vectors to the downside, there was a good reason for him to come lower and get it, which he did. So it came down, got all that. That would have let me know this was probably not going to be a fake out of this one. So that's how you could identify in advance what's going to be a fake out. So let's fast forward to this weekend and see what we can see. All right, so let's look back. We're still in the 4-hour. In the previous weeks, there's nothing to the downside. So why in the world would he take this thing down when you've got all these vectors he's just left over the last couple of days to the upside? You see all these vectors? Okay, so one of two things is going to happen. I know, it could go up or down. That's what everybody says, but it's true. But we will know which direction he's going based upon the first move. We know he's not going to the downside. Now, he can go to the downside, but it will be a false move, okay? I'm telling you, this is a false move. If he chops around here and then comes down and breaks this, all he's really looking to do is grab this liquidity there, okay? From the weekend low, grab a little bit of liquidity, and he could come down even further. I doubt it, but he can come down a little further, and then, believe it, he's going to come recover these vector candles, all right? This one technically has already been recovered, so this one has not. So I'm going to mark that out for you. We would be looking for a minimum target, somewhere around 50% of this vector, about 102, somewhere in that area, although he could come higher. He could take it as high as he wants. I mean, he could come all the way up. We've got unrecovered vectors up here. He could come for these vectors somewhere in the 110 area. Of course, this is not going to go in one candle is going to take some time, but the direction is up, guys. At least in the medium to short term. I would look for this fake out because that has been the trend 8 out of the last 10. Really more than that, but we just looked at it 10. So 8 of the last 10, the trend has been to fake out to the downside and then go to the upside. Only twice did he not. But whether he does or not, the move is to the upside. So we're going to be looking for a long. What I'm going to look for is a strong break to the upside with that. By the way, notice that all of these fake outs are vector candles. Boom, vector fake to the top, roll over. Boom, vector fake here, roll over. Vector fake here, roll over. All of these, okay? So even your little vector wick here to the downside before you went to the upside, vector. And these are vectors on a 30-minute too. Go back and check. I checked before I shot the video. So what I'm going to look for, one of two things: a vector candle to the downside or a vector candle to the upside. If you break this range, most likely this previous high right here at 97.3, if you break that with a vector candle, I am going to fire off along. Or if you break this 93.8 low with a vector candle, once you come back and recover that vector, I am going to fire off along there. So I'm going to draw that out for you real quick. If you come on down, take this low. Once it's recovered here, I'm long, okay? Because we are coming, believe it or not, we are coming for these vector candles, at least these vector candles right here, if not coming all the way up for these vector candles up here, okay? I mean, you're going to chop around a lot. You're not just going to shoot up there and get it. All right, so second scenario. Here's the high that we're looking for. Boom, that was not taken leading into the weekend. So we chop along here. We vector candle over this and close that 4-hour vector higher than this point. I'm longing, okay? So I'm longing the breakout or I'm longing the fake out upon recovery, one of the two. But the move is to the upside, guys. Believe it. Do not fall for the weekend trap. If we fall out of this zone Sunday, it could be anytime Sunday, really. I'm going into Monday, and by Tuesday, no later than Tuesday, probably on Monday, but no later than Tuesday, we should reverse this thing back to the upside. So I hope this helps you. Don't get caught in the weekend trap. That is what they want. Markets are closed, so just people like you and I around here bouncing around thinking we know what we're doing, while the market maker lets us build up liquidity, and then he manipulates us in the way he wants to go. Don't fall for it. The move is to the upside next week, guys. Watch for the fake out. Trust me.